Welcome back. Senate Republicans set to unveil their revised infrastructure proposal today. They will meet with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo on Capitol Hill. The initial price tag was $568 billion for a package that funded hard infrastructure. That means roads, bridges, etc. Joining me right now is Kansas Senator and member of the Senate Small Business and Agriculture Committees, Roger Marshall. Senator, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. What is your take on an alternative to President Biden's big spending and tax plans actually becoming reality?
Well, good morning, Maria. I think I would just encourage your listeners to compare and contrast what the president's offering versus what we're offering. The president wants to borrow $2 trillion from your grandchildren. He wants to raise your taxes and build electric car chargers. What the Republicans want to do is repurpose $600 billion of the money that we spent back in January, put that into the hands of county commissioners, city officers, those types of people, and make the decisions to build typical infrastructure, plans like roads and bridges, high-speed internet, waterways, railroads, that classical infrastructure. I think if you would ask any folks at those local levels how they would use the money with this economy just booming now, we can't find people to go back to work though, but that's what they would do with the money. So we don't want to raise taxes. We want to repurpose the dollars that we've already spent.
Look, the president has made no secret of the fact that he wants more money thrown at this economy, $4 trillion in additional money for a plan he's calling infrastructure and another plan he's calling a family plan. While doing high taxes, he wants to raise taxes by $3 trillion. On Sunday Morning Futures on Sunday, your colleague John Barrasso told me he doesn't have the support from the Democrats. Can you walk us through that? Do you see pushback from within Biden's own party that could limit his expectation to get this through reconciliation?
You know, I see a little bit of a shift the past 2 weeks on the Hill. I see that the Democrats starting to come to the table, having those sidebar conversations that the Senate is known for. I think you're seeing some pushback on the southern border from some moderate Democrats as well. So I think behind the scenes there's some pushback. Otherwise, they're going to end up doing this in a totally partisan fashion, just like they did before back in January with the $2 trillion he borrowed from our grandchildren. So I do think he's getting pushback, and that's why these discussions are happening today. And I think Senator Barrasso will do a great job sitting down with the secretary and make some progress, we hope.
So when do you expect actual clarity on this? When would you expect a bill to actually start to move?
Oh, gosh. You know, I think we're still weeks away, but I think this week is a big deal, and we'll see what John comes back with from that meeting.
Okay, you recently introduced the Get Americans Back to Work Act. This would repeal federal enhanced unemployment benefits, which has made it more profitable for many Americans to actually stay home, stay unemployed, rather than returning to the workforce. Give us your assessment of where we are in regards to that. These people are not lazy. They're practical. No. They're getting $300. They can get that $300 and then have a side gig and not leave their homes. So you are seeing a serious impact from all of this money thrown at the economy.
Right, Maria. So in Kansas, unemployment sitting around 3%. We have 80 million open jobs across the country. The number one impediment to our economy is getting people back to work. And like you said, they're not lazy people, but they're being paid $20 an hour to not work. So most, like in Kansas, people are getting $500 a week from the state and this $300 match. So that's $20 an hour. So if you have two parents, working to a married couple, they're making $80,000 a year to stay at home. And so they're making more to stay at home than to go back to work. And I know there's other challenges out there too. Childcare, kids back to school, those types of things. There's other challenges that we need to keep addressing, but we can't pay people more to stay at home than to go back to work.
It makes perfect sense, Senator. Look, I also want to get your take on the origins of the coronavirus. You recently wrote an op-ed for FoxNews.com on the origins of the coronavirus and what questions the Biden administration needs to be asking. I spoke with Congressman Devin Nunes about this on Sunday Morning Futures. He sent a letter to President Biden over the weekend, and he's coming out with his comprehensive report this week. Here's a bit of Devin Nunes from Sunday. Watch this.
But what I believe it is, and if the American people go and look at it, there's 25 questions that the United States government ought to be answering, not just for House Republicans on the Intelligence Committee who are trying to get to the bottom of this, but for all of the American people and all of our allies around the globe who are still reeling from this virus. I mean, every day people are still dying, and thank God most Americans had been vaccinated or have actually contracted the virus, and it seems like we're on a downhill slide here in the United States. And that's why it's so important we need to get the answers to know how to move forward from here.
So, Senator, how come we don't have the answers, and how come President Biden has not raised this with Xi Jinping yet? I thought this was the priority.
It should be. There should be bipartisan support to find out, did this virus leak from Wuhan? Does it occur in nature, or is it made in a lab? And then what are the rules surrounding viral gain of function? And I think if you look closely at this, there's a lot of evidence pointing that this could have been made in a laboratory. If you go back to SARS and the MERS outbreaks, both of those, 2002, 2012, within 4 months we had the intermediate host for the SARS virus, a servant, and then beyond that for the MERS outbreak, it only took us 9 months. Here we are 16 months into this, and we don't have an intermediate host. We don't have any collection of this virus. China has investigated over 80,000 animals, and we still don't know where this virus came from. It should be a bipartisan effort here.
And one of the executive orders from the Biden administration in the first couple of weeks was we're not allowed to say China virus. What's that about? Senator, it's great to see you. We'll keep a spotlight on this for sure. Thanks very much, sir. Senator Roger Marshall. We'll be right back.